Hi 302, I'm Miss Cochran. I wanted to chat to you and your parents a little bit about number concepts. There's three main number concepts that all kids need to be working on, and there's different stages of those concepts. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that so your parents can work with you on these three concepts and kind of have a think about where you're at. So the first one of the numbers concepts is called one-to-one correspondence. So what that means is that when you line up different I'm going to give you an example. So, for instance, right here, I've got different toys lined up here. Your student then would be able to point and count each one. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they're counting, they're pointing and counting one object with each number. A few things that I have found in my teaching experience is students sometimes go too fast. They know the rote count, so they can rote count, which means automatically count 1 to 10, but they can't slow down and associate one number with one object. So reminding students to go slower is important. And then also just making sure that they are saying one numeral with each item. So one-to-one counting is important. So if your student is having trouble with this, start with a lower number, so kind of less than 5 objects. Once they master that, then you can move up to 10, then move up to 15, then move up to 20. Once they kind of get 20, then increase it to 30, 40, 50. It's easy to start with toys and objects. When your student kind of gets above 20, I would shift to coins. You can do all pennies, all the same coin or different coins. But one-to-one correspondence, we're really looking for them to go up to 100 would be important so that, for counting, and that's a lot. That's a lot to get to 100. So start small and then start checking your students' ability. Now, the second concept is called cardinality. So, for instance, when they're counting those 11 objects and you ask how many, they are able to say 11 at the end. They don't have to recount, but they understand what that last object counted is the total amount. So, again, they're going to start with their one-to-one correspondence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then when you say how many, they're going to say 11, and they're not going to have to recount. So cardinality is the second concept once they get the one-to-one correspondence. Now, the third concept is invariance. So what I always say is when you start, have them in a line. Then, the second time around, put them in a circle and see if the student realizes that it's still the same number 11, and that's okay if they have to recount, or if they have to go back around and count again. The thing about lines is there's a stop, end, and a finish. Will they remember if they start on Emily Elephant that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? Firstly, will they remember where they started and then they will stop? Or secondly, will they realize that a line, just because the configuration is different, the number doesn't change? So that's going to be the third concept, which is a more complex concept, which is invariance. So different configurations doesn't change the number of objects. So for the first activity that we're going to do this week, I'm going to have you kind of test how far one-to-one correspondence your student can do. Can they do 1, 2, 3 at the more simple end, or can they start counting objects past 20? So check their understanding of one-to-one correspondence. Then make sure that you ask the question, how many? Do they understand that the last object counted is the final number or the quantity? Then thirdly, once after you have it in a line, then make it a circle or make it a little bit different, 2 lines, circle, things like that, and then see if they understand that the invariance that doesn't make a difference if it is in a different configuration, that it's the same number of objects. Don't be surprised if they have to count again. That's okay. That just means that we need to continue working on shifting from line to circle or from line to a varied pattern. So, a little bit about number concepts. Now we're going to spend the next couple weeks working on just seeing where your student is in number concepts and then focusing on that. So if your student is still at 1-to-1 correspondence and mastering that under 20, then we'll continue. I'll encourage you to continue working on that, if not daily, every couple days, using either toys and objects that you have in your household, but eventually, we're going to want to be working towards coins, because this counting and these number concepts are going to be very important when we start working with money in the long term. Okay, talk to you soon, 302.